Wake up, Rip City, because Deni Avdija is playing like an all-star. Last night, he scores 37 points to lead the Blazers, unfortunately in a loss. And this is the Wake Up Rip City podcast. We're going to talk about Deni today. We're also going to just talk about overall feelings as Blazer fans right now. It's been a very up and down kind of emotional feeling season. We've had some highs, we've had some lows, and me and Gliss are kind of gonna break that down, kind of how we're feeling as Blazer fans, as the Blazers are now 19 games through this NBA season, sitting at 8-11. So, welcome in to the Wake Up Rip City podcast. I'm Alex Moore, alongside me Jay Gliss. Jay Gliss, how you doing today? And happy Thanksgiving, man! Happy Thanksgiving. We're recording on a Thanksgiving Thursday, so happy Thanksgiving. Good to see you.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you too. I'm a little tired. I had a nightmare that Sumani was shooting another 3-point shot, so I lost a lot of sleep last night. But I'm good. It's happy holidays.
Happy holidays, yeah, and so we'll get into all the feelings, but of course, let's just start on the game last night. I think you and I both feel the same. We just don't really want to talk about the Blazers' loss Spurs, but we have to. It's our job now. So obviously, a lot of expectations going into the game last night. You could argue this is the biggest game of the season. I mean, the Blazers have played kind of bigger opponents, but I think with a chance to advance into the NBA Cup kind of elimination round, I was very excited about the game. Fully expected the Blazers to come out, especially kind of after the form of the last three games. Beating the Warriors on the road, beating Milwaukee on the road. And the game just had good vibes going into it, and it's just one of those games where it's like, oh wow, there's kind of expectations, and it's fun because it's so early in the regular season, and it's something that I have to give the NBA credit for a team like the Blazers who haven't touched playoff basketball in a while. It's like, wow, this game has expectations. And I guess with the ups and downs of this season, I should have just predicted that was going to happen. I should have known. I don't know, but of course I had hope and thought that they could win that game. But Gliss, how are you feeling after the game last night and the NBA Cup loss?
Yeah, I'm with you. It was disappointing. As you said, we're about a quarter of the way into the season,
Yep.
playing a team that, if you were looking at the beginning of the year, was probably one of those teams that was kind of in the same range as the Blazers in terms of possible playoff teams. And obviously, they didn't have Wemby. The Blazers have had a lot of injuries, but yeah, it felt meaningful. Like there was some purpose going into this game, like you said. We haven't had any playoff basketball in a long time, so having a chance to move on to that knockout round and them being able to control their own destiny in that sense did make it. It had a little extra feel to it going in, but yeah, it was once again just kind of let down. But you just we're a quarter or a quarter of the way into the season, and I guess you just got to move on.
Okay, I totally agree, and I think we're both feeling that like negativity on a Thanksgiving morning where we're supposed to be happy about the team. But this is the Wake Up Rip City podcast. We have to wake up on the right side of the bed. So Gliss, what are you positive about this Blazers team right now?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Yeah, I mean, Deni Avdija is just like, and there was like it was almost like a next level last night. I mean, just some of the passes, that no look pass that he threw to Tamani, who, missed the 3-point shot. Um, that was ridiculous. I mean, some of the passes he was making were sensational. I mean, it was fun to watch. It was beautiful. And yeah, he's been really the only consistent bright spot in this early season. I mean, he's playing out of his mind, and he looks like one of the best players in the league right now.
I completely agree with you, Gliss, and there did seem to be, and I know like in a game it's hard to say a leap, but there was a different energy about him last night. The Blazers should have the game should have been out of hand in the third quarter, and he said no. He took over the third quarter for a Blazers offense that was absolutely putrid outside of his play. I think he had 30 points before another Blazer had 10. It was just ridiculous, hitting three after three to keep the team in the game. The passing was absolutely incredible. He just had a different energy about him. He had this energy that was like, you guys can't guard me. There's nothing that the Spurs can do. And it was incredible to see that. I mean, if he's that kind of energy out of him was not something on my bingo card for this season. The leap he's already taken wasn't either, and for him to even do what he did last night was just incredible to watch among stuff that we've seen out of legends in Blazers history. Was what how he looked last night. He looked like that incredible and just absolutely amazing to watch him play like that.
Yeah, he looked like the part. When you think about it as a superstar player, he looked like a superstar player. And the I think one thing that we should remember too is they're essentially playing without a point guard this last stretch of games, and I mean he is really become the only distributor on the team. And I always forget the guy's last name, Tom, the stat dude on the broadcast. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he pointed out that Deni is, I think he said 18th in assists in the NBA, but he's fourth in the NBA at attempted assists. So basically, if the Blazers were shooting more consistently, and I'm guessing a lot of those are 3-point shots because that's clearly been a problem lately for the Blazers. But that's impressive in itself that he's creating those kind of opportunities along with what he's doing, in terms of scoring.
Yeah, his creation is incredible. I mean, it was something that we saw last year as like kind of a next step because he was so good at crashing the paint and so good at attacking a team's defense that that defenders are going to collapse on him and he's going to create open shots. The passes he was throwing last night, I was like, oh my god. I mean, I for a guy with his size and his skill set to start doing that stuff, it's like, wow, like that's amazing. And you're absolutely right about the point guard situation. Of course, I think you and I have talked about it on the podcast before. I think we've texted about it. I think we've talked about it on the phone. It's so rough to watch this team without a point guard because they need someone who has that shot creation ability. But what I texted you the other night was I do think if we're going to take another positive out of it, if we're going to wake up on the right side of the bed again, it's that this period for Deni I think will be huge for his growth because like I said, that next step in his game is going to be making all the players around you better. Like you talk about that so much with superstars. Is a true superstar is able to make his teammates take another step. And so for Denny to be kind of forced into this situation where he has to create for other players, I think will ultimately be good for him in his growth as he continues to kind of figure out, who he is as a player and who he is as he's taking this next step to being an all-star. So hopefully in the long run for this team, I think this is a good thing, which kind of takes me to what I want to talk about next, Gliss, the overall feelings for this team. The Blazers have suffered some tough losses that hurt as a fan. You're like, oh damn, like this is a game they should have won, and so that sucks. But I will say the fact that they are treading water without any point guards, with all the injuries that they've had, I think is a pretty good sign for when the Blazers start to get some players back.
Yeah, I mean, it really feels like just how rough this stretch has been with some of these, really tough losses, some buzzer beating losses, a couple of them already. I mean, it really does feel like right now they just need to get healthy. The guys they're missing, you can feel it. It's like over time, it just kind of it becomes more glaring. They talked to Blake Wesley during the telecast for probably like about 5 minutes or something like that. He was sitting on the bench, and The whole time I was thinking, man, I wish that guy was out there because he was so much fun to watch those first couple weeks of the season. Just the way he was getting after the opposing team's point guards, and and really just kind of pissing guys off. And that was fun to watch. So I miss him. I miss Drew Holiday. I miss Matisse. It really does feel like right now they just need to get healthy, and then we'll have a better sense of where this team can go this season.
Yeah, completely agreed. But in the meantime, this team has to continue to tread water because no NBA team is coming in here feeling sorry for you.
Mm-mm.
I've seen stats about injuries throughout the league where there are a lot of teams that are missing multiple players right now. Of course, the Spurs don't have Wembanyama last night, and so that's just kind of the way it is. Like you're going to go through stretches where there are injuries, and it's next man up. That's got to be the mentality, and we have seen next man up for the Blazers, and it's not pretty times. But but what they have to do is make sure that they can continue to stay in the race standings wise, and it's so early in the season. Just continue to win games here and there and make sure that they're in it. Wait for players to come back. What I do think is very difficult about the Blazers injuries that I just feel like I've never seen before is the injuries to one position. If the injuries were a little bit more spread out throughout, forwards and big men instead of just all point guards, I think it's a little bit easier to figure out depth wise, how you can kind of plug guys in and get minutes here and there. Like, for example, when Robert Williams was missing time early in the season, Young would come in early in the first half, have some minutes, and then the Blazers would go centerless in the second half to close out games. Like that all of a sudden becomes easier. That level of depth, you can figure that out. When it's all one position, it's like all of a sudden, like, oh man, the Blazers don't have someone who's used to bringing the ball up the court for 48 minutes. That just doesn't exist on the team right now, and so that becomes very difficult because that's someone who can set up the offense, who can be a calming influence. We're talking about a Drew Holiday, or we're talking about a Blake Wesley who can come in and just be a dog on defense. They don't have that person right now, and so that becomes difficult from the point guard position to be just completely missing it. So I do think there is a difference between, okay, yeah, teams are suffering injuries and that happens, whereas like the Blazers have suffered injuries at one position particularly, and then they've missed Shaden Sharp for games, or they've missed Jeremy Grant, other players who become shot creators. So but man, it was my worry early on. I was like, man, if Drew Holiday misses time, like this team is going to struggle because there's no one to come in, and then it happened. And I think we've even talked about that on the podcast before. So it's just difficult.
Yeah, I mean, being thin at that position in today's NBA, it's rough, and having basically both of their legit point guards out for this stretch has just been it's been tough. But like you said, I mean, they're in the 9 spot. They're 8-11. They're not where they want to be, but if they get healthy, the team that we saw those first couple weeks of the season, I still think that's a very real thing. The way that when you have that calming presence of Drew Holiday and you have Blake Wesley coming off the bench, I think one thing that they've showed is they do have some depth. They can plug guys in, and because they're really working with the bare minimum right now, and they're remaining competitive. It's a struggle at times, but like you said, they just gotta keep their head above water because it's not like they're by any means out of the playoff race. They're in. If the playoffs started today, they're in the play-in. And I think when the season started, that's where all Blazer fans want to be. Is we want to see some playoff basketball, and that's still a very realistic opportunity ahead of them.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about this too. The schedule at the beginning of the season was brutal. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
fact that play Oklahoma City 3 times before December is
Yeah,
insane.
that's brutal.
And they still delivered Oklahoma City's only loss of the season. Man, I just was watching the OKC Timberwolves game last night, a little bit of it, and I was like, this team has it all. So it's just crazy. The Blazers, of course, play Oklahoma City again on Sunday. I think
Yay!
Portland. Yeah, so welcome them back. So that'll be exciting. Gliss, anything else to add about Blazers basketball?
I wanted to go back to Deni for a second
Yeah,
because I know we're not going to see Dame, anytime soon. But man, I every time I see him sitting on the bench, he's always right there, right in the mix, right next to the coaching staff, first guy on the bench, and I can't help but wonder just how what's going through his head when he's watching this guy play, because Dame is such a student of the game, and I can only imagine that he's sitting there thinking like, okay, I'm kind of locking into what this guy can do and how I can help complement him, because Dame's got to be excited about the prospect of getting to play with him down the line.
yeah, that's kind of a fun thing to think about. And I saw a picture online of Dame and Denny holding hands and on the bench. They weren't really holding hands. They like high five, but someone screenshotted it, and it looked like. And I was just like, oh, this is adorable. Um, and I was at the game last night, Gliss, and it went to timeout. And I don't know if this was on the broadcast or not, but it was after some dumb foul. I can't remember what it was, and the whole arena was in an uproar. Dame walks out onto the court, and he's just in a ref's face, like what? Oh, it was Denny. It was Denny had been hit on a shot, and they didn't call foul, and
Yeah,
Dame's
they weren't calling much of anything last night.
in a ref's face, like, and I was like, oh, I was like, look at Dame, he's getting into it. And then that ref walks away from Dame, and then Dame goes up to the next ref. He's like, "What? Come on!" Like he's like he's got his hands up, and he's like, all this stuff. It's just, I mean, injuries suck so much, like especially for such a competitor. Like I can't imagine that mental headspace, like not being able to do kind of what you love to do must be so difficult just to sit there. But I just saw the competitor, like, oh, he's out there, like he really cares, and seeing him like pulling for Denny was pretty cool.
Yeah, and he said at the when he got here, he basically said, "Look, I might not be on the court this season, but I'm going to be there. Like I'm going to be part of this. I'm going to be in the front line," and he's definitely lived up to that.
Yeah, and it would be easy for him to miss games here and there, but he's been there like every game. I feel like I've seen him on the bench, active, up, talking with people, and so it's been so exciting to see him. You had mentioned Tumani earlier. Are you worried
Oh,
about? I've seen a lot of negative talk about Tumani on the internet. I agree. There have been difficult moments with him, but are you? What's your feel with Tumani right now?
mostly just frustration. I mean, it's tough because anybody who's played basketball, who's shot at basketball, I mean, you go through. It's just same thing in baseball. Hitters go through slumps, but I do feel like this has been a consistent trend lately. He's had a couple games where he's shot the ball pretty well, but man, if you're taking 11 3-point shots, you can't make two of them. I mean, that's just not and not only that, just the way some of them look. It's just even the second one that he made, I didn't feel he shot with a lot of confidence. And some of these shots were wide open threes that really could have swung the momentum of the game. And most of them were off Denny passes where he was wide open. Denny collapsed the defense and he was wide open, and that was 3 points that could have swung some momentum the Blazers' way. And then the one that really comes to mind that I can't get out of my head is he had the ball in the corner and he held it for about 8 seconds and he pump faked probably about 6 times and then finally just decided to shoot it. And I was like, what the hell was that? Like, so yeah, I'm frustrated. I think that shooting is becoming a problem for the Blazers. I think it's something that a lot of Blazer fans were worried about before the season started. And that's why Caleb Love, when he came in he's been kind of refreshing at times because he can come in and just kind of light it up a little bit. But shooting in general, I think, has become a problem for Portland's, and I think Tumani is kind of just maybe the scapegoat right now because he's struggling. I mean, he's taking a lot of 3-point shots and he's not making very many of them.
Yeah, and I mean we knew this before the season that shooting was going to be something that was going to be difficult for this team. They just don't have the shooters that like Deni would need for him to really have a lot of space and to punish teams who are collapsing the defense on Deni when he's taking it to the rim. In defense of Tumani, I will say this. I think he's in a little bit of a difficult position because I think he probably feels some pressure from this team not having too much shot creation. And I think the Blazers at the beginning of the season were like, "Hey, let's take let's take the leash off him a little bit. Let's see what he can do, with on the offensive side of the ball." And I think that coming into the season, he probably worked on his three a lot. It seemed like that early in the year. And now he's going through a little bit of a slump in a time when he's trying to create more offense for the team because he knows he has to step up a little bit. So I do think he's in a little bit of a difficult situation. I don't think he's doing himself any favors with the jab step. A Tumani jab step. If you could hop on DraftKings and choose Blazers will miss their next three right after a Tumani jab step, you'd be making a lot of money because it's just a indicator that he's going to miss a shot, especially when he takes so much time and then the defender's on him. Like there's no reason to shoot it. The jab step didn't work, and then he's still shooting. It's like, okay, this is getting a little bit frustrating. I will give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit and say, okay, I think he's probably he's in a tough spot. I mean, there other than Deni, there's like truly no like creators on the court, and Tumani is someone who thrives on others creating shots for him, right? Like he needs that catch and shoot three. He's a great cutter. And so when he cuts, he needs, someone to give him the ball in those situations. And that's the best place for him to create offense for this team. And so I think that maybe he's feeling a little bit of the pressure right now from all the injuries. I don't know if that's a lame excuse. I don't know if it's even an excuse, but I guess that's just kind of how I feel about how he's been playing. And so hopefully, we will see the old Tumani. And I mean, we've never expected him to give that much on the offensive side of the ball. So hopefully we can see kind of more of those cuts and more of those catch and shoot threes compared to the jab step shot creation that is just like so frustrating to watch.
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, he's a guy you want on the floor because of, his ability on the other ends. He can be a game changer on the defensive end, but yeah, I just want to see him get in the flow a little bit more, like to your point, like, cutting to the basket and just some consistency. That's all it is. Like, I mean, that's the thing. It's frustrating because what are you going to do about that? I mean, these guys go out and take shots, they get their shots in. I think it's just a matter of time before his percentage goes up and he's shooting the ball with a little more confidence. But it's definitely hard to watch, especially when the team is struggling and you have all these injuries and it's been so up and down. I think it's just one of those things that's easy to kind of pick out and focus on, but long term is a huge concern? Not necessarily. I think it's more just overall the Blazers need more shooting, and that doesn't all fall on him.
Exactly. Yeah. And we'll kind of see how when pieces start to come back. I think we'll return to the Tumani of old. But yeah, I completely understand the frustration, and I have felt the frustration too. And I think I've even talked about the Tumani jab step on the podcast before. It's just it's the pain.
I don't like seeing the jab step.
Yeah,
and I definitely don't want to see like four of them. Like that whole possession, you're thinking it's almost like, oh, don't do it. Oh, he's gonna do it. Don't do it. And it's like the defender's like, go ahead, do it. Like,
yeah. All right, Gliss, that'll wrap up our Blazers basketball talk for today. Of course, the Blazers will play on Sunday against Oklahoma City.
Whew, another tough one.
Gliss, Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah.
What do you got going on today? What's your favorite dish? What's happening for Thanksgiving with you and the fam?
Yeah, we usually go to my brother-in-law, sister-in-law's house. They have a couple acres out in Tillamook, so we go out there and spend the day out there. It's, usually pretty chill, pretty
Nice.
mellow.
You got a drive to Tillamook in front of you today.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I'll drive there. I probably shouldn't drive back. And yeah, I like stuffing. Stuffing's probably my favorite part of Thanksgiving.
Okay, sweet. I'm also going to my brother's. I'm cooking some mashed potatoes. I'm gonna make
Nice.
vegetables as well. I think I don't know what my favorite thing is. Like, okay, so my family, my mom's half Indian, and so we do like classic like Thanksgiving food, of course. But then my mom throws in like some curries and stuff like that. So we really got like
That sounds awesome.
it's great. So I like that. But then all the Thanksgiving stuff, the classic turkey, stuffing, potatoes, all that stuff. I just put gravy over all of it, man.
I know.
I'm eating gravy and turkey, and then I'm eating curry on the other side of my plate, and it's just a win for everyone. So that's kind of what I'm most excited for. So, yep, we'll see the family at my brother's place, and yeah, I guess thankful that the Blazers are almost close to 500 and have some players back soon. I'm thankful for that. But with all the losses, this Blazers team has still been fun to watch, and so I think that's ultimately the best part. The fact that they're in the race is great, and so thankful for that. Thankful for the Wake Up RipCity podcast too.
Me too. It's been fun. So
awesome. All right, Gliss, I will see you next week to talk some more Blazers basketball. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.